Hi, I'm Cynthia. Welcome to the University of Nevada, Reno Museum of Natural History. You might be wondering, what do you have in a natural history museum? What do you study in a natural history museum? In our Natural History Museum, we have many different kinds of plants and animals, and scientists study them. In Nevada, we have lots of different kinds of plants and animals because we have so many different kinds of habitats. We have lots of mountains, huge lakes, small streams, rivers, forests, and deserts. Can you think of who might live in the river? Who might live in the desert? And who do you think lives in the mountains? Our museum is like a library or collection that holds information about the different kinds of plants and animals that live around us. We mostly have plants and animals from around Nevada, but we also have some from other parts of the world. Other scientists can come to our library to see animals or plants they might be studying. I love working in the museum because I appreciate many different forms of diversity. I am especially excited by biological diversity, including different kinds of plants, mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and insects. In this video, I want to tell you about how we as scientists use collections or libraries like these. One important way we use collections is to keep a record of plants and animals that have lived in the past so we can help protect plants and animals that live in the wild today. I have worked in the museum for a long time, but there are always more things to discover. One of the things that our museum is best known for is our plant collection. We have over 100,000 plants in our collection. We also have over 350,000 insects in our collection and over 35,000 vertebrates. Vertebrates, if you remember, are things with backbones. This includes birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. We call each plant or animal in the collection a specimen. You might be wondering what makes each specimen so special. A scientific specimen is more than just the physical object, but also includes exactly when and where it was found. Here are two wild rose plants. One was collected just recently, and the other was collected almost 120 years ago. Knowing this information about where and when a plant was collected allows us as scientists to ask questions about how our world is changing through time. We can ask questions like, does this plant still live in the same place? Can you find this plant in the same mountain ranges as you could in the past? Maybe a plant used to be found in Reno by the Truckee River. Can you still find it growing there even though we as people have changed the environment? Some of my favorite kinds of specimens in our collection are butterflies, including ones I have studied. As a scientist, I study butterflies that live here in Nevada. This past summer, I was looking at rare butterflies in the White Mountains. Here I am collecting butterflies in a mountain meadow. One of the kinds of butterflies I was looking for in the White Mountains is called the greenish-blue butterfly. Look really closely at these two butterflies. What are some differences that you notice? Right now, we are looking at the underside of the wings of the butterfly. In other words, the side that you would see if a butterfly were sitting with its wings closed. When I looked at these butterflies, some differences that I noticed are larger spots at the bottom of the lower wings for the one on the right. The orange spots are much larger on that individual. The one on the left is a subspecies, or a unique kind of greenish blue, and can only be seen in the White Mountains where I collected it. Just like people, there can be lots of differences between individuals of the same kind or species. Having many individuals of the same species in our collection can help us understand the differences between individuals of the same kind or species of butterfly. Sometimes it can be sad to see animals that were once alive in our collection. I try to take pictures more than collect, and I know most other scientists do the same. For some kinds of questions or research, it is important to have a record of the real plant or animal. The butterflies that I collected this summer will stay in our museum as a record for future generations to study. In some cases, we can't imagine the ways in which our collections will be used in the future, but we know the specimens will be important resources for future biologists. Some of you watching this video may grow up to work as a biologist and use collections such as these. Now I would like to introduce you to other scientists who work in our museum or study specimens from our museum.
Hi, my name is Haley and I'm a scientist and I study reptiles and amphibians. My favorite reptiles are snakes, and in the museum we have many different groups of the same snake from different places. And that lets us study how their bodies and their patterns change in different environments. I study garter snakes, like this one, and they live in ponds in the mountains and can eat very poisonous newts.
My name is Santiago, and I'm a scientist who studies insects. I worked for a long time taking care of the insect, snail, and spider collections at the different museum in Ecuador. Now I work to take care of and organize the butterfly collection here in this museum. I study the color of one kind of butterfly called the sandhill skipper. That color changes depending on where they live. So there's different colors and different patterns on their wings depending on whether they live up high in the mountains or on the edges of mountains or in the deserts.
Hey there, my name is Allison and I am a restoration ecologist. That means that I try to help the plants that call this area home. Now this is sagebrush and it is our state flower, and it's a very important plant because a lot of animals use it for food and shelter. But big wildfires and plants that aren't native to this area have reduced its numbers and populations. So I try to work with this plant and many others to try and help them grow back. And I use the museum's wonderful herbarium to compare samples that I collect in the field to those that are held in the museum, so I can see how they've changed over time. I can also use the herbarium to see if I'm identifying these plants correctly.
Technology is allowing all of us to make observations that we can share with other scientists. If you or your families and teachers are interested, the best and most widely used program is called iNaturalist. When you take pictures of living things and upload them using the app or website, you can add to our understanding of the plants and animals that live around us. Remember, we can all be scientists. The most important tool that you have is your ability to notice things and make observations of the plants and animals that live around you. We love having families and classes come visit our museum to see specimens and talk with scientists here who study them. Thanks for visiting the UNR Museum of Natural History today. I hope to see you here in person soon.